One thing I wish I'd known when I started my business back in 2006 was the power of not trying to figure it all out on my own. You know, I've had a father who's been self-employed and a business owner for many years, running, you know, a 7 and 8 figure business in a completely different industry to me. But having grown up, seeing him at home, you know, going to the business, even at one point when they went through hard times from my age of 6 till 16, you know, doing boot fairs and markets on a Saturday and a Sunday with him, I've always been around an entrepreneur kind of environment. But that didn't stop me after 10 years in 2015, building a business that was almost doing 7 figures with high 6-figure profits that I absolutely hated because I was financially trapped, I was mentally trapped, and I'd just not worked smart, I'd worked just consistently and insanely hard. So I'm Gary Das, and I have been in business since 2006. I now have multiple businesses, multiple teams, and my big passion is empowering business owners to build a business, income, and lifestyle that they truly love. We do that by providing the education and the skills around generating leads, increasing sales, maximizing business profits, and building true financial wealth for our clients. And what no one told me when I started out was that there's an employee mindset and there's a business owner mindset. That employee mindset I carried with me for nearly 10 years when I started out. I thought I needed to be the first in. I thought I needed to be the last out of the office. I thought that if I just did more, worked harder, bought more leads, made more sales, that I would have a lifestyle that I really, really wanted. And don't get me wrong, we had great holidays, we had lovely cars, we bought a really nice house. But when my first daughter was born in 2012, I was back to work 3 days after her birth because I felt I had to, because I was paying for leads. I hadn't done any marketing, which was one of my biggest mistakes. Why I'd had this father who had been a business owner for many years, I had did what he had always done, which was been the first in, been the last out, controlled everything. And what I've learned since 2016 is to have a completely different mindset. You know, is about leverage more than anything else. You can leverage other people's money. You can leverage technology, which is something I absolutely love to do, to automate systems and processes. But importantly, you can leverage people, experts in individual job roles and titles that you can delegate things to, who are better than those things than you. And collectively, you know, that makes an awesome team. So in 2016, having built this business that I absolutely hated, having felt mentally and emotionally trapped, I found an opportunity to start my business all over again. And I'm not going to go into that. That's something that I've spoken about many times. But this opportunity came from personal experience. It allowed me to move from an insurance brokerage, which I've been building for 7 years, and back into mortgages. But I realized that I was the problem. I realized that, you know, I was trying to figure everything out all by myself. So in understanding that, I'd been researching Tony Robbins, who's obviously one of the best life coaches, business coaches out there. And I got to know about this NLP stuff, neuro-linguistic programming, and I figured out that I was fundamentally the problem. So I had to improve my mindset and also improve my skill set and get out of the employee mentality and learn new strategies, new tactics, new behaviors in order to be able to get a different result. Because have you heard the saying, if you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get what you've always got. So I invested in training. My first course was £6,990, and it was basically how to build a business. It was about productizing and writing content and writing a book and creating partnerships and sales and running marketing campaigns, something I'd never done in my first 10 years of business. You know, when I understood how to leverage social media and build my brand out online, you know, that investment, which ended up being about 11,000 in 2016, I did a public speaking course for 3 days and a variety of other little things. That 11,000 ended up returning me around about 308,000. Now, as an example, you know, a solo mortgage advisor typically does around about 60 to 100,000 pound a year. So I was getting 3x because I'd learned new skills, strategies and tactics. And I've come to realize one key thing. Everything costs you either time or it costs you money. You know, if you try and figure everything out all on your own, then you're going to take a huge amount of time trying to learn everything, trying to understand, then put it into practice, then it fails, you've got to start again, then learn new skills, then try another different way. Everything takes you a huge amount of time. But what I realized is, how can I shortcut that journey? You know, when I was playing sport as a younger kid, I would go and find somebody who's better at tennis than me. So I would play against that person, because playing against that person would make me a better tennis player. You know, when I was playing football, I did exactly the same thing. I always wanted to surround myself with people further along, more experienced, better, so that I could be better in sport. And then I suddenly realized that's what I should do in business, by investing in other people. So I started to pay money and find a who rather than try and find a how, to basically shortcut the learning phase, save all of the aggravation and stress and frustration of testing and trial and error and perfecting things, and just basically go to that person and say, hey, shortcut my journey, teach me what you know, show me how it's going to work, and then tell me what I need to do to put it into practice. That meant that I got immediate results and got immediate return on my investment, or nigh on immediate. Sometimes that immediate might have been a month, sometimes it might have been 13 months. It all depends on the time that I had to be able to put things into practice. But I'm a huge believer now in the more you learn, the more you earn. And those skills compound, because as you begin to layer on new skills, new strategies, new tactics, you get more growth, not just in personal development, but also in professional development. You know, now I have 3 businesses. I have over 20 people on my team. I only focus on my superpowers of doing the things that I'm truly awesome and fantastic at. And I delegate everything else to true experts in their fields. Now, my biggest learning at the present time is leadership. You know, how to actually lead and manage a team. You know, it started out as marketing, wanting to get better at marketing and attracting clients. Then it went into improving my sales and my conversions. Then it went into creating more time and systemizing the business and automating as much as I possibly could. Then I was starting to make some consistent profit. So I started to focus on what is the right strategy for the business over the next 12 months, and in particular reverse engineering that into the next 90 days to be able to get more consistent results. As we started to see more growth, I started to understand finances and data and numbers so that I could manage those other areas and get better leads, better sales, better systems, and understand really cash flowing. And when was the right time to invest into more marketing, and then when was the right time to invest in team and to start building that team up. And that has been a consistent cycle now that I have developed of going through those stages. But that's come from what is now in 2024 roughly a £330,000 investment into my own business knowledge skill set. But that skill set, as I mentioned, compounds, and it has now earned me more than 8 figures in my business journey. So my one piece of advice, and something that I wish I had known much sooner, is go and find a mentor. At school, we have teachers. At my home life, I had my father. You know, in fitness, I had the coaches and players who were better than me, but I never adopted the same mindset when I went and started out in my business. Go and find a community of proactive individuals. Go and find someone who is where you want to be, who has the skill set and the mindset that you want to adopt. Listen to their podcasts, download their books, put into practice some of the things that they teach. Go out to them, reach out to them, speak to them, ask them for help, sign up to their coaching programs, their courses, and constantly keep looking for somebody who is just 3 to 5 steps ahead. Don't go for the person who's 10, 15 or 20. One of these YouTubers with massive followings and huge numbers of staff. You know, it's pointless because they're not going to connect the dots between where you are and where you want to be. If they're up here, they've forgotten what the dots look like down here. So I'm often just looking for that person who is 2 to 5 steps, 3 to 5 steps ahead of where I am, because they'll still remember what it is like to be in the trenches, to be doing the do. They'll still be able to give me the specific steps and actions that got them the result. Not going to the person that's right up there doing 10, 15, 20 million pound a year when you're only doing 100 grand, 200, half a million or a million. You know, you want actionable and tactical tips that you can put into practice. So that would be my number one tip to anyone starting out or stuck in business. Go and find somebody that is where you want to be and do everything that they tell you. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in.